Back when I was a kid and growing up, I used to be a carb-o-holic. I ate all the bread, all the pizza, all the nuggets, fries, desserts, you name it. I ate everything. And now I eat barely any carbs. I don't touch bread. I don't touch fries. I don't touch pizza ever. And I'm not even tempted by it. How did I get to this point? How did I get to the point where I no longer even care about these foods I used to love? How did I wean myself off of them? Well, let me tell you guys, the most important tip, the best way to get off of these foods is to cut them out. Cold turkey, 100%. It is easier to be 100% than it is to be 99%. What does that mean? That means that it's easier to go all the way than just some of the way. And when you decide to do a low carb diet, you might be tempted to think, you know what, I'm just going to take this a little bit at a time. I'm going to cut out a little bit of bread here, a little bit of fries there. I'm just going to do slightly low carb than before and just tiptoe my way into it. You can do it that way, but it's much harder because you're going 99% rather than 100%. Think of it like this. Let's say you're an alcoholic and you want to stop drinking. Would you go to Alcoholics Anonymous and they tell you, you know what, just drink a little bit less and you'll be fine? No. They tell you to cut it out cold turkey. It will suck at first. You have a few days of anguish where you're really craving good stuff. But after those few days, you'll be off of it. Same thing with cigarettes. If you're trying to cut cigarettes out, do they tell you just to have slightly less cigarettes? No, they tell you to come out cold turkey. Why is this? Because they understand too that it's easier to go 100% than 99%. When you just go 99% of the way, and you're still having a little bit of bread here, a little bit of fries there, that temptation is always there to go off track. If you start eating some fries with your friends, you might start thinking, well, I'm eating some, might as well eat more. And you'll eat some more. And then you'll have a full cheat day. You have a full cheat day, and then you might think, well, you know, I had this whole cheat day, might as well make it a cheat week. You make it a cheat week. And suddenly you're at cheat month, and you're off the rails completely. Don't let that happen to you. Avoid the temptation. Don't just resist it. Avoid it. Learn to know yourself. Learn to know your weaknesses and your addictions to food. Because yes, you can be addicted to carbs, and many people are, which is why they justify it. Realize that and act with that in mind. Because if you cut it out 100% rather than 99%, what you're doing is you're taking away that temptation entirely. You're not tasting it, you're not touching it, you're not smelling it. And so you're avoiding all the sensory information that is going to make your body scream, I want this and I want it now. Avoid it completely. One thing I did when I first started was I sort of had a Last Supper. I went to my favorite restaurant at the time, Cookout, for one last time, and I got an amazing meal. And then I ate all the bread and ramen and stuff in my pantry. I ate as much as I could and threw the rest away, and that was it. I cut it out since then. I never restocked my pantry with more. I kept all those kind of foods out of my house, or at least out of my ownership, because, you know, I had a roommate at the time who still ate high carb. And in doing so, I made it harder for me to cheat, because if I wanted to cheat, I'd have to actually go in my car and go out and buy something. Whereas if I threw all the food out, if I didn't touch it, if I didn't just go 99% of the way and still had a little bit here and there, because I went 100%, it was easier for me to cut it out for good. And now I never cheat. The only carbs I eat are either from low-carb vegetables or from glucose tabs when I'm low. I never touch bread. I never touch sweets. I never touch all the junk that I used to be addicted to as a kid, that I grew up on. And I did because I went 100%. So remember, when you're going low carb, just do it. Go all the way with it. At first, you cut out all those foods, your body might go through a big shock. Might have something called the keto flu. Look that up on Google for yourself. You'll be going through some changes and you will really crave those foods for a while. Sure. But eventually, if you cut them out long enough and you keep them out and you enjoy the foods you replace them with, which is why meat is so important. Who doesn't love meat? Find foods you love and replace the foods you can't have with that. Go 100%, and eventually you'll find yourself not even missing them, just like I do. You'll find yourself realizing that those foods were never worth in the first place. In fact, you won't even see them as a treat anymore. There was a time where I was going 99% for a little bit, and I was thinking of Wendy's fries and a chicken sandwich as a treat. I was thinking, you know what, I've been doing this so well for so long, I'm going to treat myself. But there came a moment where I realized that this isn't a treat at all. That what's going to happen is I'll have a little bit of taste sensation, and then my blood sugar is going to go sky high, and I'm going to hate it. And I'm going to have to deal with it for hours and hours later. I realized that it was never a treat. It was never good for me. Once you go 100%, and once you realize that, you'll be free of it. You'll be free of those temptations, and you'll finally not crave those foods anymore. But you have to go all the way. Don't go 99%. Don't go half-assed with it. Cut it out entirely, and once you do, you'll be much better off, and you'll be much less likely to return to those old bad habits. That is all for now. Stay eating low carb, stay taming that type 1, and if you like this video, be sure to share it with some friends, get the word out, and let everyone know how we tame type 1.